Namaskar. Very warm welcome to all of you. In this episode, I would like to talk about something very important which has been asked to me by one of the listeners of my previous episode. And what he asked me is that how is it possible to continuously doing the same thing for long? It's a difficult and typical problem for every one of us. Many of us, rather most of us, start with a lot of enthusiasm, but after some time we tend to really move away, and that intensity of that enthusiasm and that intensity of doing that particular work gets diluted up to some extent. There is no one way of doing it, but the most important thing which I remember is that the beginning of something. Once we start doing, then it is very likely that we might continue doing it if we develop some interest in doing this, and we get some sort of benefit out of that. I do remember at this particular moment a quote by Mandela ji where he says, "It is impossible until it is done." But I would like to say it seems to be undoable until you start doing it. Which may not be may mean the same as Mandela ji said it, but at the same time, the most important step in anybody who is doing something is to start doing it. Not worrying about too much about what the result would be and would you be able to continue with that or not. In today's time, you know that in our country and in other countries, startups are very, very popular. People start with a lot of enthusiasm, but many of them give them up on the way. Sometimes due to some general reasons, and sometimes because they are unable to continue focusing on the same, and they are diverted to some other area of their interest. So that is very much possible, but you cannot reap out the effect, the result of something which comes out based on your continuous efforts. So I would like to share a few things which I feel which helped me and which helped many people about whom I have read, and I've read their books also written by them. And these small steps are the ones which would be making us to continue doing those things, and then really get the best of the result which can be available to us after doing some work. So the first very important thing is that start doing it. I mean, you have to start doing it. But before that, what is your goal? I mean, you have to find out what is your goal. There are not many things which come in our mind. This is what I'm going to do. This is what I'm going to do. I meet somebody and I get influenced by that person, or the status or the position or results which that person would have got. And I tend to really do that. But I have to understand it so well. I mean, an individual has to understand it so well that what is the interest. And if on the way you find that interest not really of interest, so it's good to do away with that, but not to do away just because you were not getting the result. If you are still interested, continue doing it. So first thing is to start with. Second thing is to having, of course, before starting, having a goal, and then breaking those goals into small steps. And the very important thing which has helped me and has helped many people is that you must note down those ideas which come while you are thinking of achieving something. So how do you do it? What do you do it? Sometimes wonderful ideas come in mind, and those go then waste later on because we get involved in some other things. So it is always good to really chalk down those ideas, and maybe out of 100 there will be one which would help you a lot in continuing and in achieving your goal which you had set for yourself. So that is second thing. And the third thing is that you must ensure some time limit, that this is the time which I'm going to really devote on this. Definitely. I mean, it may be 2 hours, it may be half an hour, it may be 5 hours, it may be 10 hours, depending upon every day. I'm saying every day, depending upon what intensity or what kind of work you are going to do. So that should be the third one. And the other thing which is very, very important is that you must keep on reviewing your progress or no progress, whatever it is. I mean, maybe in a day, maybe in 2 days, maybe in a week, maybe in a month, that should be reviewed. It should not happen that you don't review what you have tried to do and what worked and what did not work so well. so that some small changes can be made to achieving that final goal which we had set up for ourselves. The other thing is that give minimum time, minimum 30 days for something to come in your habit, to become a sort of consistent process or efforts based on your goal and everything. So minimum 30 days are very, very important. You can't see any result, we can't see any difference if it is less than 30 days. Some people say 21 days, but 30 days is one which is usually considered. But in some cases, it can be more than 30 days also. So it's not that after 30 days, if you don't see the result, you stop it. No, you have to continue doing it if you are having interest in that and you are seeing some progress in that. And that can be done only once you review it. The other thing is that suppose you had set a particular time that during this time you will start doing it. You'll, for example, I take the case of you are wanting to develop reading habits. So you thought of having a book that you will complete this big book in 1 month, and you devote about half an hour on that. So what time that half an hour would be? Would it be any time during the day, or you are going to say that it will be like from this time to this time? Now, once you have decided about half an hour or 1 hour, then make sure that you use it. I mean, it should not be left unattended. I mean, that work has got to be done. It may be done like you are saying that I'm going to read a book between 4 and 5, but you are going to use only half an hour. So you read initially for 10 minutes, for 15 minutes, then half an hour, and then 45 minutes. So you can keep on increasing. You should not try to do the most the very first day. It should be started with a very small step. That is what I wanted to tell you. And the other thing is that the process has got to be enjoyed. Make it short. The process is very, very important, and this is the process only when we tend to really get away from. So if you are not enjoying the process of achieving something, you would not be able to reach where you want to reach. So process is consistent, and that consistency should be kept always in mind. And that will ultimately take you to the consistency of doing something. And once you start doing something, like if you take the case of, I take my example. Once I started uploading these or preparing these videos for all my viewers and listeners, then it becomes that I do it every week, and I know I have to do it, and I have to do it for 10 minutes, for 12 minutes, for 15 minutes. So I remind of that, and I'm enjoying it. When I'm talking to you now, I don't know whether you enjoy or you don't enjoy, but I enjoy while I'm talking here, though you are not in front of me immediately, but this process is so enjoyable. Reaching to this process, I have to think, I have to review what could have been done better, what more points could have been added. So this review I do, and I get some time during the week. So reviewing, as I told, is very, very important. Small steps are very important. Process is very important. Consistency of the process is very, very important. And always having an idea of those people who would have achieved something great in the field where you are trying to achieve. Read about them. And if you can listen to them through audio or some YouTubes, do that. You would definitely be able to achieve it. So if you want to be consistent in anything what you want to do or whatever you want to achieve, for that interest is very important. That willpower is very, very important. And once these two are there, then it will become your habit. And once it becomes your habit, then even if you would not be wanting to do it, you will do it. And we do it so often when we start learning the driving, that we all know it's always very, very difficult. But once we do it, then we keep talking, even though we should not do it, but we are talking to a co-passenger, but still everything is happening automatically. So that could happen only because you had practiced it so well, you wanted to learn it. That desire, that willpower which I said, to really achieve that is so important. And if we do the same thing again and again and again, of course it gets very, very strong in our mind, and we achieve and any desired result based on that. So this is, players would know it well. I mean, they can play for 5 hours, 6 hours, 10 hours at a stretch, even while they are practicing. And that 10,000 hours rule, you all know, written in the book Outliers, if you would have read. I mean, that's so great. So we have to really do it. And nothing can be achieved just by ideas. Those ideas are to be put in practice. They are to be tried. And that can be tried only when you are so focused. And that focus is there, that willpower is there, that interest is there, that desire is there. All these things are there. So only thing is that you decide, I'm going to do it. You are going to do it. And remember this quote by somebody: you are 100% responsible for what your life is, nobody else. Don't blame others. Don't blame in yourself. Only think that you would not have put 100% of your efforts, you would not have tried it for longer as it required to be tried, and that would have been the reason. You can do it, and you will do it, I'm very sure. So to develop consistency, very small steps, which I just mentioned to you, I would not repeat. And I think that that viewer, that listener, who really gave me this this idea of talking to you once again, how to be consistent in our efforts while achieving something great in our life. So thank you very much, and let's meet in the next episode again. Thank you.